Let's move now into some NBA lottery draft watch, some tanking.
So excited.
We went to the good teams now, so I'm taking a look at some of those bad teams.
Tank watch.
Yes, the teams that I like tank. I think it's productive. It serves a valuable role for you, and I think that's particularly true with the Phoenix Suns, who really are young and they need more help. They right now have the best chance to get the #1 overall pick as they sit dead last.
So I was looking over DeAndre Ayton the other day, especially with how he fits with the Phoenix Suns. And do you know who he just screams to me besides Patrick Ewing?
Who?
He just screams Amari Stoudemire besides the degenerative knee issues. Just big man down low. You don't really know what he's going to give you on defense, but this guy's going to put up 20 and 10 for the rest of his career.
Have been some rumblings
Go ahead.
that Ayton wants to be a 4. Doesn't want to be
but at the same time, that's fine because he would actually fit really well next to Alex Len, who can only play defense and cannot do anything on offense. So you bring in Ayton, you already have Elfrid Payton, you have Devin Booker, then you add DeAndre Ayton to go along with Marquise Chris as well. Look, this is a building roster. It's still very young, but DeAndre Ayton could be that guy who takes him to another level. Him plus Devin Booker, that's 50 points a night right there already. Now you just have to figure out how to play defense for once with this team, but that's why they have Josh Jackson. So they have a lot of good talent in this team. Their starting lineup next year, if they get Ayton, because they need a power forward in the center, will be, like I said before, Elfrid Payton, Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, DeAndre Ayton, and Alex Len. That is one of the best young starting fives in the NBA, and they might actually win more than 20 games next year with that lineup. I can't wait to see what Ayton does in the NBA. I think he's going to be a great pickup for the Suns if they get that first pick.
So the Phoenix Suns check in there with the #1 projected order, of course. We'll see the lottery if there's a creased note or envelope or anything along those lines. Yeah, and we often see a team jump up into that #1 spot that wasn't the most likely team. Let's get to #2 then. It is the Atlanta Hawks. They blew it up, and now they're going to benefit by having a high pick, most likely.
So I have for their team needs a small forward and a center. I have a center because I think that John Collins is better as a 4 than he is as a 5. I just don't think he has the overall weight and the overall girth to be that kind of player. But if you're looking at what they need, Luka Doncic would be a really good pick for them. You match him up with Dennis Schroeder. You have a lot of great overall offensive players who can make an impact on that end of the floor. But I think they are going to fall in love with Michael Porter Jr. They love that kind of prospect. They love the guy that they can put in at the 3 and just say, grow. Become one of the best 3s in the NBA. Figure out your jump shot. You're already a versatile defender. You're already a great driver to the basket. And he has some great court vision for a 3. I think he's a perfect fit with the Hawks. I can't wait to see what they do on that end.
So Atlanta there checks in at #2 right now. We'll see what ends up happening with Atlanta. I think they should end up with a very high pick there. But Harris, I want to know from you and, of course, everyone watching, who do you think should go #1 in the NBA draft? Ayton, Doncic, someone else?
I thought originally it should have been Doncic, but at the same time, look, if you really think that DeAndre Ayton could be the next Patrick Ewing, you take DeAndre Ayton. And at this point, I think DeAndre Ayton might be slightly better of a prospect coming out than Karl Anthony Towns was. Because when Towns came out, he wasn't the overall crazy offensive prospects that people initially thought he ended up as. DeAndre Ayton is that guy. We know he's a force down low. He's better than Marvin Bagley, at least coming out this year. I think it should be Ayton. But if you want to take Luka Doncic, you have every right in order to do so. He is no slouch by himself.
All right, so folks, keep those comments flowing in the comments section. Let's get to #3 then, in terms of the worst NBA teams with most likely to get a high pick in the draft lottery.
I'm going to contain myself.
The Memphis Grizzlies check in at #3, Harris.
Deep breath, not going to freak out. It's just the Grizzlies, okay. But at the same time, there might not be a better player to team fit in this draft for me than Marvin Bagley is to the Grizzlies. He's just perfect. He's what they need at the 4. They have Marc Gasol. You put Bagley in at the 4. You have Mike Conley. And boom, all of a sudden you have a great 4-5 combo down low. Gasol can teach Marvin Bagley how to play some defense, which he doesn't really have a lot of ability to do so. Jaren Jackson could be another nice pick. It depends on what he does at the combine. If someone really believes in Jaren Jackson, the kid out of Michigan State, he could really jump into the first round and become one of the better players in the NBA, but I think 3 is a little bit high for him. I think he could go somewhere maybe 5, maybe 6, but Marvin Bagley should go #3. If he's on the board and the Grizzlies are ready to take him, take him. Don't even blink. Just take Marvin Bagley. It's a safe pick. He's going to be great. He's not Jahlil Okafor. He's going to be a really good player in the NBA. I don't really know who he is, though. That's kind of my issue with Bagley. Okay. I've never really been able to figure out who his comp is because he's such a weirdly unique yet bland player. That's why he's the perfect Grizzly. He's unique yet bland.
Nice backhanded compliment there, Harris.
It's the Grizzlies, like Zach Randolph. He's unique yet bland.
All right, let's get to #4 then, the Orlando Magic as they enter rebuild #45 under this new regime. You like Bamba there?
Take Bamba. I'm serious.
Great defender.
Bamba's the perfect fit for them because now you have Jonathan Isaac and you add Mo Bamba. Again, that's
length.
a great 4-5 combo. You have so much defense. I don't know what Bamba's going to be able to do in the NBA. Look, he's 7'3" and is a twig. He's literally the size of my pinky finger.
I'm concerned he's just going to end up being Nerlens Noel.
He might be Nerlens Noel, but I'll say this much: he's going to be super fun for Orlando. He's going to put butts in seats because you can say like, hey, we have a guy who looks like Giannis who plays center and blocks 5 shots a night. He's going to be a great shot blocker in the NBA. And just remember, he's not obviously Anthony Davis was a totally different sphere of a prospect coming out, but Anthony Davis was a stick coming out too. He was not the thick monster that he is now. If Mo Bamba gets in a weight room and adds some meat to him, I mean, come on. Like, we've seen stick figure big men in the NBA work when they start to get a little bit of toughness to them. I'm not saying he's going to become Kareem or become Hakeem, but Mo Bamba has a lot of potential.
Okay.
I think his jump shot is also underrated. You add him with Jonathan Isaac, I think they have something nice to build around, but it also depends on whether or not they bring back Aaron Gordon. If they do, then that just blows up my whole draft board for the Magic. I'm planning on them trading Aaron Gordon.
All right, let's get then with the Magic number 4. Let's move to the top 5, or I should say to number 5, the Dallas Mavericks here. Harris, they got Dennis Smith, but I think in terms of youth and long-term growth, they need a lot of options.
They are literally getting on their hands and knees and praying that Michael Porter Jr. drops them because this is a very interesting team that it doesn't have one huge overall need. I still think Nerlens Noel could end up being a player. You highly disagree with me. That's fine.
He just hasn't been playing.
But they have Dennis Smith Jr. They have Wesley Matthews still on a big contract. They still have Dirk. They still have Harrison Barnes at the 3. And I don't know if they're going to take a center 5th overall, especially in the NBA. Coming after taking Dennis Smith Jr., I think they're going to try to take someone, maybe put him at the 2 or the 3. I think Jaren Jackson is actually the perfect fit for them coming out of Michigan State. Versatile defender, versatile guy on both ends of the court, is really good off ball, and will actually match up pretty well with Dennis Smith Jr. You can just add all the juniors, and it'll just be a really fun overall team. Junior this, junior that, whatever. I think that they're going to get a really nice player at 5. But again, they are praying that Michael Porter Jr. drops them at 5. He's not, but they're praying that it's going to happen.
All right, let's get then to here are the top 5. If you guys missed those, the Phoenix Suns, the Atlanta Hawks, the Grizzlies, Magic, and the Dallas Mavericks. Let's go to number 6 then. It is the Sacramento Kings who continue to rebuild.
Yeah, and this, to me, I already know who they're going to pick. This is the easiest pick ever. They're going to take Wendell Carter. They're going to take the boring 4 who can rebound and can't really score that well. Look, Wendell Carter's a great kid. He's a really, really good overall prospect. But at the same time, I wouldn't say he's anything special on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think that he's one of the better offensive prospects in this draft. I don't really know what the best fit for him is in the NBA. I kind of put him with the Kings because they're just going to take someone who's a great defender and is going to open up the lane for De'Aaron Fox to go down it and score. Bojan Bogdanovic's been really good for them. Buddy Hield's been great for them off the bench. So they have a lot of guards. They have people who can score and can shoot some jumpers. Now they need big men down low who can defend. They have Willie Cauley-Stein. You had Wendell Carter Jr. Actually, coming to think of it now, you know what Wendell Carter Jr.'s probable comp is? It's probably Zach Randolph. Maybe a little bit smaller, and it makes a lot of sense, seeing as the Kings have Zach Randolph.
And I got to watch him turn back the clock against the Mavs. That was a great game.
So I think that Wendell Carter Jr.
watch.
would be a nice player, but also if the Kings want to kind of shock people, don't be surprised if they get attached to Miles Bridges. I could totally see their owner, Vivek Radhav. I always forget how to say his name, but he was obsessed with Stauskas. He likes big-name college prospects. Stauskas coming out was a big-name college prospect coming off of the tournament. I think Bridges is also that kind of guy.
Let's get then to number 7 here. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers, and no, it's not their actual pick. This is their pick from the Brooklyn Nets
pick
via the Celtics.
This is the last Nets pick. This is the last one, and then the Nets can start picking in the first round. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's literally best player available. Who's the best player that we can add to this team and pray to LeBron James for him to come back this offseason? And that guy is Trae Young. They're gonna pick Trae Young. I'm sorry. Like, it's already happened.
If he's there.
If he's there, Trae Young is a Cleveland Cavalier. Because if you're going to LeBron and you're saying, hey, we want you to stay, we just drafted basically the top phenom from this past season in college basketball. The dude rains threes. He's a miniature Steph Curry. So now you have a mini Steph Curry on your team. Please stay.
Harris, everything you just said makes me think the Kings will take Trae Young.
They're going to take Trae Young.
See?
But yes, that is a very likely scenario. But At the same time, I think this Cavs team is going to end up taking Trae Young. But don't be surprised. They might actually do the smart basketball move, which would be to take Mikal Bridges out of Villanova. That would be the smart move, but I don't know how smart this Cavs front office is. They did well at the trade deadline. They've done some smart things, but how intelligent they are with drafting remains to be seen. If they want to take the flashy pick, they'll take Trae Young. If they want the smart pick, they'll take Mikal Bridges, who, mind you, is a much better overall player than Trae Young is. He plays defense. He shoots threes. He's a good passer. He's consistent off the bench. They should take Bridges, but they're going to get enamored with Young to try to keep LeBron.
All right, Cavs then check in at number 7 in the projected top 10 draft order. As we sit right now, of course, the NBA draft lottery will make everything all screwy and whatnot because it never ends up being exactly the way it's supposed to be. To number 8 we go. It is the Chicago Bulls, also very much in the midst of a rebuild.
Yeah, in the midst of a rebuild, and I can't wait to see future Bull Miles Bridges play for Chicago because he is the exact definition of the player that they need. They need someone who can shoot from the three, someone who can play some versatile defense as well, and someone who can push the ball up the court and get it to Zach LaVine and to the rest of their guys. That guy is Miles Bridges. They need an on-the-court leader, someone that has a lot of personality, someone that can really take their franchise to the next level.
Your Jimmy Butler replacement.
Exactly, and I think that's Miles Bridges. This dude has some of the best intensity and passion of any NBA prospect coming out this year. He is a fierce leader. He's a big-time overall player. I think he's a perfect fit for Chicago. I think he's a perfect fit for what they want to do on offense. He just, the fit to player to team is so perfect. I think him and Zach LaVine are a match made in heaven. Bring Miles Bridges to Chicago just to fulfill my wondrous need for that kind of player with the Bulls.
All right, the Bulls check in at number 8. To number 9 we go, the New York Knicks. Maybe in reality, Harris, maybe they benefited from Kristaps getting hurt because it ensures that they're going to get, in theory, a top 10 pick unless something really goes weird in the lottery.
And if they end up having Mikal Bridges fall to them, they're literally just going to skip all the way home. That'd be it. Again, we keep talking about player to team in terms of overall fit. Again, another player, Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks, perfect fit. You add him to Frankie Smokes, you add him to Kristaps Porzingis, you add him to Enes Kanter. All of a sudden, you have a 3-and-D player who can move the ball around the court as well. He can get you more open looks for Frankie Smokes. He can get you more open looks for Tim Hardaway Jr. He can spread out the floor a little bit more, and you have to cover him from the perimeter, which will open up more shots for Kristaps Porzingis. Mikal Bridges will start day one for the Knicks. There aren't a lot of teams that he's going to start day one for, but he'd be a fantastic decision for them. They need a 3. They need someone to match up with next to Hardaway and next to Porzingis, and Bridges is just the perfect connector between their backcourt and their front court and exactly what they need on that end. Because they're not going to get LeBron.
I think in reality, though, if the Knicks do this right, they can get another key piece for them. Because they kind of tried to, win now, which I didn't think made a whole lot of sense for Porzingis' situation whatsoever. All right, let's get then to our final spot here in the top 10, the Philadelphia 76ers. As they sit right now here, this pick is via the Lakers. There are some protections involved in this one here. But as of right now, the Sixers would get it if it falls outside the top 6.
And they are praying that Miles Bridges falls to them because, look, they're going to go after Paul George this offseason. They're going to go after LeBron James this offseason. They're going to try to get that dynamic 3 who can play defense and also be a threat on the offensive side of the ball, and that is Miles Bridges. They could go with Zaire Smith, who had a really, really good season this year, but Miles Bridges is just – they keep going after these big-name college prospects. They went after Markelle Fultz. They went after Joel Embiid. They went after Ben Simmons. Miles Bridges is along that same vein. He is the next step in trust the process. This is another guy that they've been waiting for. He doesn't have a large injury history. He's a leader on and off the court. He's a fun guy to be around. His teammates love him. He'd be a great, great fit for them, but he might just not be there for them, and that's the big-time problem that they're going to have. It's really who is the best 2 or 3 that we can find that's on the board currently, because you have to remember going into next season, JJ Redick is leaving, Covington's on a good contract, but they still need more shooters to come off the bench, so they might just take a guy like a Zaire Smith who's just a knockdown shooter. So we'll see what ends up happening with the 76ers, but they need a guy who can score.
So the Sixers there, as we sit right now, have the 10th pick in the NBA draft. Of course, the lottery will affect things, and of course, we'll have that here live on Chat Sports. To recap here, the top 10 teams will go from 1 to 10. It's the Suns, the Hawks, the Grizzlies, Magic, and Mavericks. And then it's the Kings, the Cavs via the Brooklyn Nets, the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks, and the 76ers via the Los Angeles Lakers.